beaten down, battered down soul. The smiles look fake. And one of the things I started realizing about Will as I've been watching him is that is there's something about his eyes. And if you watch Will for over 20 years, which I think we all have, like this is a guy who's been on the big screen or the TV screen for so long, you realize there's something about his eyes. He always looked like you remember how he looked on the set of the Red Table Talk, and that facial expression was so, it felt like it said so much about what was going on. Will Smith Red Table Talk. It's that facial expression. Y'all know what I'm talking about right here. Like, this is the look of, like, just look at the eyes. The eyes tell you everything. The eyes tell you everything. This is the eyes of a guy who's tired, who's beat down, whose spirit has been literally just almost taken from him. This is a guy with no more fight left in him. And I'm not saying this because I dislike Will. We all love Will Smith, but just look at his eyes. He is at the point of there is no fight left. Whatever we're seeing now, he's been dealing with for a long time. He's been giving up. He's going through the motions. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's in the eyes. And as I was seeing this, you'll see shit like this. It looks fake. It looks fake, and then you'll hear randomly like, what this gotta, like sometimes it's like, yo, what this gotta do with anything? Like, for example, we all know about the infamous slap. Will Smith says, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. He slapped Chris Rock. And you would just imagine, and I want to just put it in your terms, whether you got a girlfriend, a friend, or anybody else. If you and that person may have not been on the best of terms at that point, right? And y'all in the club. You and your homie in the club, y'all ain't seen eye to eye maybe on a few things, but y'all in the club together. Somebody step on your homie's shoes, your homie start fighting, you gonna fight with him, right? You might deal with your issues with your homie that you ain't really on the same page with privately, but you ain't gonna come out publicly later and be like, you know what I mean? Or actually, I should say it differently. Your homie punches somebody for you because they disrespect you in the club. You ain't gonna be like, yeah, I ain't know why that nigga did that because I ain't even that cool with him. This is exactly what Jada's doing. Jada's coming out, and listen to this. She's talking about the moment when Will was saying all this shit to Chris Rock, then slapped him. She basically said, I haven't heard this nigga call me his wife in a while.
In tirade, warning Chris not to mention his wife's name. Jada couldn't believe what she was hearing.
What is going on? Now, first of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right now?
My wife's
name out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on.
What viewers did not see at the time, while Oscar clips were being shown, was Chris Rock leaning over the stage to talk to Jada.
And Chris looks to me and he says, Jada, I meant no harm. Now, I'm just out of it because I'm really worried about
and
Will.
What's Will doing? He's just sitting there?
And Will's still talking. He's like, because now he's mad because Chris is talking to me. And I go, Chris, this is about some old shit. That's all I could think to say, right? And I couldn't really take in his apology.
How unusual for Will, a guy who, I mean, on that kind of stage to do something so insane.
Absolutely.
It's totally out of character.
It's not him whatsoever. I did
Bain tirade, warning Chris not to mention his wife.
Okay, let me see if I can get a longer piece of this interview for y'all. I've just seen clip after clip, you know what I mean? Jada... Yeah. Sorry, here we go. Is this it?
I was in a cycle of self-hatred, and it was just a really dark time. I want out, and I knew I had to make it.
Okay, now this is her talking about Tupac. I'm gonna keep it a being with you. If I'm Will, I would have been like, yo, if you want to go fuck this dead nigga so much, go dig his body up and fuck this nigga, man. No, this ain't no disrespect to Tupac. It's like, bro, it's only so many times your goddamn wife could be talking about another nigga that's not alive, man. This shit is like disgusting at this point. We don't give a fuck. Like, you know what's so crazy? If you watch any Tupac movie, she not even in the movie. Nigga, they show Faith more in the movie than her. Like, she's not in the movie. Like, this chick is just trying to, like, really, like, convince us on some revisionist history shit that she had some big ass relationship and she was a soulmate of Tupac. Like, low key, what's that girl that's in that movie that had the braids? Janet Jackson. It was Janet Jackson. One of them with Pac. We know them be more with Tupac than her with Tupac. She been volunteering info about her and Pac. We like, nigga, we don't care. Talk about your man. Nigga, I'd rather you talk about August Alsina at least, man. Why you keep talking about Pac? Like, this is such bird behavior.
I'm walking in, I got the rat tail, I got the fly clothes.
Hold on.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. And I still to this day, you know, people like, you know, I still to this day have to like manage that because it's just in me. It's just part of me. It's something because it was such a it was, you know, it was something that was built at the foundation. You know, it's in my DNA.
Default,
it's my default. So it's like, and I do it well. I can just, you won't know anything that's going on. But like you said, it's like, well, then you don't give yourself an opportunity to make the connections that you really want to have.
And you're going to be misunderstood.
Yeah. All the time, which that is like, that has been my life too. Just misunderstood.
Another thing I learned from reading the book, which is going to shock you that I didn't know, but this shows how little I am tuned into media and Hollywood and all that, is your relationship with Tupac.
Oh, yeah.
He comes over, introduces himself.
Yeah, first day of school, Baltimore School for the Arts. And as soon as I walk in, he's holding court. He's a charismatic from day one. He's holding court. And I'm like, who's that peanut head dude over there? You know, and I'm coming in, I'm rocking, you know, I'm Jada. I'm walking in, I got the rat tail, I got the fly clothes, you know. And he turns and our eyes just meet. And I'm like, oh.
Man, fuck this bitch, man. Listen, man, yo, Will, it's about time you pop out with a bad bitch, bro. Hey, let me tell you this. Niggas, this is my advice to all men, man. You with a woman who's embarrassing you, man, and especially like she's now like like she's in your past. Well, I think she's not in Will's past, honestly. I think she's over Will, and Will either has regret or wants her back. Because if I'm Will, the only way to change this conversation is for you to pop out with your new girl. You pop out with your new girl, they stop talking about her. Be like, Jada, shut the fuck up, man. You ain't even no movie star like that. Shut the fuck up. That's what we would have told Jada. Shut up. We don't give a fuck about. Shut up. You get what I mean? But since Will ain't done it, it's like every day we're witnessing a new episode. It's like let me give you the example. You see that whole like Adam 22 and Lena shit? I know Lena, no disrespect to her. She running around probably thinking that, yo, I'm the shit because, you know, I went viral with this Jason Love dude. Nobody gives a fuck if you fuck a black dude, shorty. We only care that you're the wife of Adam, who's fucking a black dude, okay? And you're his wife. So really, the relevance of all of that shit came from him allowing it, him turning a blind eye to it, and him able to stomach being with you. It ain't about you, okay? It's the same with Jada. Who gives a fuck about Jada? My nigga, I can't name one notable thing she done. Wasn't she like one of the Matrix movies, just bald-headed, just doing a bunch of nothing? Fuck out of here. Listen, Jada is like a straight waist gal. I'm gotta keep it 100 with you. If Will just pops out with a new shorty, bruh, we don't want to hear this scallywag no more. I'm sorry to tell y'all, it's over, man. Get her out of here, dog. But the thing is, he's simping and he on some cuckold shit so crazy, you slapping niggas, other niggas piping your girl out, you turn the blind eye, like, what's going on with Will? Yo, Will, just pop out with a new shorty, dog. We gonna stop talking about her. Facts, pop out with a new shorty. But anyway, let's keep hearing how she's good. Yo, you could tell that she is... Bro, she's creaming in her panties talking about this nigga Tupac, bro. She's gushing, nigga. She got a faucet down there. Like, god damn, bro. Listen to how she talk about this nigga, man.
And then, you know, I
wouldn't be surprised she got like a Tupac tattoo next to her pussy, bro. Like, what's going on?
I'm going to hold my...
Yo, let me tell you, she gotta be... Yo, listen, she's definitely fucking the ghost of Tupac.
My court, you know what I'm saying? And so then he comes over, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. And so he comes over and he's like, hey, I'm Tupac. And I'm like, Tupac? the name from the gate.
You know the craziest thing is somebody got to humble Jada Pinkett Smith too. Jada, this is what you see. Niggas be too nice to chicks like Jada. Yo, Jada, Pac probably fucked hundreds of bitches. You was just one of them. Wasn't he fucking Madonna and them too? You think they having over your nightmares? You was just another joint that got knocked off. That's it. Stop thinking you like some extra special da-da-da-da. No. The nigga wrote you a couple letters because he was locked up. The nigga was on some Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet shit with you. He was locked up. He had to write letters. Like, the fuck is you talking about? You know what I mean? Oh, he wrote me a few letters. I have them saved in a safe and Will better not go. What the fuck? He was writing fans letters back. The nigga was locked up and bored. This is what happened, man. She gassed up like, Pac was knocking everything off, man. I don't know why she thinks she that special.
It was just like, I never heard a name like that before. That was such a powerful, different name. And I was like, Tupac. And he had this big...
Yo, this is a fucking bird. Look how she's getting wet at the thought of his name. Oh, this is a bird. I never heard such a powerful fucking name. Tupac. Oh, hell nah, man. What the fuck? Oh, hell nah.
Smile. And I was like, it's not a lie.
Yo, this is the type of bitch that go to sleep every night watching Juice. That's the type of chick we talking about, bro. She probably go to sleep every night watching Juice, bro. Hoping that one day she gonna see an alternate ending, bro.
A lot of people that have that kind of like charisma and courage to just walk up on me on just like, I'm Tupac. You know what I mean? You need to know.
What you mean the type of you a basic joint to Pac at that time. He's slaying everything alive. He's slaying people way litter than you. It's Pac. Yo, you're Jada. You're like Jada. This is why sometimes us men, listen, we usually date down on some real shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'll have like a lit, and it really happens mostly in music. You have a lit musician who dates like a nobody, or dates somebody who's like severely not on their level in terms of like either with a talent or like litness or whatever. And over time, you have that person think that they're the fucking A-side, or, you know what I mean? Like, they're the shit. Like, no, that nigga was fucking all bitches better than you, everybody below you. Like, niggas just be fucking hoes. What are you talking about? This little special shit you doing segments on the nigga dead.
Know me, you know? And from right from there, inseparable. We became the best of friends from that moment on. We just connected. It was as if we already knew each other. It's crazy.
People will find
nobody checking her. That's the problem. It's not like y'all already knew each other. Yeah, you already knew you wanted to fuck. That's it. Like, yo, come on, talk about like Pac knew. Bro, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Pac just knew you wanted to fuck, my nigga. You're meeting a nigga and you're saying, wow, I never heard such a powerful name. You know what Pac is probably thinking? Shit. I'm gonna see if that powerful jaw gonna suck my dick. What the fuck is you talking about right now?
It's hard to believe that at that age, in that environment, it wasn't a romantic thing.
I know. People have had a really hard time, you know, understanding that. Pac and I had a hard time understanding why it just we didn't have it. And I talk about it in the book.
Yo, this is what I gotta tell y'all, man. Yo, y'all main chicks in the world, I don't know if there's any women listening to this, man. Make sure y'all state y'all claim, okay? Because if your nigga happen to die, you're gonna have a side chick that's more popular than you that's gonna act like she was the main chick. Jada was a whole side chick, man. Let's keep it a bean. Like you were Brittany Renner back then. Come on, stop playing. You ain't like Yo Miami. Stop playing. Come on, girl. You stop playing with us, man. But Pac dead, so now you talking like you the widow. Yo, she talking like she the widow. Like, oh my God, I lost him. Oh my God, give me my black shades, my black Chanel shades I lost. Bitch, she was a widow. One of many. You wasn't probably one of the last 5 bitches he done fucked. Look how she talking about him.
You know, that being on the back of porch of my house and we're like having this discussion. I'm like, okay, Pac, just kiss me. And he kisses me and it's the most disgusting kiss between us both. I mean, he pulled back just like, and I pulled back, and I was like, see, dummy, you know, and from there it was just like, and then there was one more time he kissed me, and it was just like.
This look like an elf, man. Like, I don't even know why Will so sprung over her, man. Like, yo, this shit crazy, dog. Yo, this shit is crazy, my nigga. This shit is crazy, man. This shit is getting me upset, and I don't even got no horse in the race. You feel me?
And I talk about that in jail when I go to see him in Dannemora. That's a whole nother thing. And once again, it's just like.
Yo, she got one of them big ass ears like them niggas on, was it like Star Wars or Star Trek or some shit like that, man? I don't know what this alien looking chick got going on, man. I don't know why she thinks she that lit, man. Will, what have you done to gas this chick up, bruh? This chick a basic joint.
Dude, doesn't work. But throughout our relationship, we definitely had this beautiful closeness that was really intimate, but never physically intimate. A lot of emotional intimacy.
I know you ain't talking about a nigga 20 years later when you're saying you ain't fucked him. Okay, this is mental illness right here. This is some mental illness shit.
A lot of intellectual intimacy.
You know what she pretty much telling us, right? She wished she had fucked him. She's like, damn, we didn't fuck, but I wish we had fucked. So she's using these other little weird ass words. You know what I mean? We had intellectual intimacy. Bitch, that's called flirting. That's just called sexting.
See.
First of all, why is she even smiling like this? I ain't gonna lie, man.
We just knew how to reach each other in ways that was very difficult. We knew how to get around each other's walls.
This is what I hate about this. I don't mind her speaking for her experience, but she's now putting her experience on Pac. Like, she's saying this is, like, she's going to make it feel like she was that one of one person for Pac because Pac ain't here to say, bitch, you was just one of the rest. You was just one of the joints on the roster. You was just one of the actresses I was slanging cock to. But because he's dead and he can't really tell us this, she's going to make it seem like, and we know Pac was running through the host, she's going to make it seem like they have such a unique connection, and the same thing that Pac means for her, she meant for Pac.
And we didn't get offended when we would fall into our defaults of defense, which could be pretty fierce between the two of us. He was quite a powerhouse, and so was I. We could be very challenging when we got riled up. So arguments, we were very passionate. But because we were one and the same in that way, we kind of understood that language. Like, oh, this joke is, you know what I mean? So we didn't get offended a lot until one particular time, which comes later in the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We gotta check Jada Pinkett-Smith brain for CTE too, man. She sounded like the way she talking about Tupac, she must be into some necrophilia shit, man. If you don't know what that is, man, that's a sick infatuation with possibly having sex with a goddamn dead person, bro. Like, she's doing too much here.
Yeah, when you come from the same place, so you know the origin.
Now, yo, here's the thing. We can't even play all of this. By the way, go watch Homie's interview. His name is Diary of the CEO, all right? If you want to watch this whole malarkey right here. And no disrespect to him. I'm just can't stand this chick. Anyway, yo, she talks about him for 20 more minutes, and then she talks about him proposing to her. Listen to this shit right here, bro.
And I went to go see him in Rikers, and Rikers is actually... that's a really... Dannemora might be where they put terrorists. Rikers is like... I remember going to see him there, and
yo, if you ever needed to realize that Jada ain't shit, Jada is like 60, writing a book about her life, and half of the book and the most interesting topic is Tupac. Let me say it one more time. If you ever wanted to realize that her career wasn't shit, and she ain't shit, She's married. She got kids. She's probably had a million experiences that she could have put in a book. And the only interesting thing that everybody keeps talking about with her is Tupac and how much she don't love Will. Bitch, you ain't had nothing going on then. You ain't had shit going on. You just had a life about nothing. Yo, let me further crystallize this. Now, I ain't even going to click off this page. We got to keep Will Smith's face right there. Jada, 52. What age did Tupac die? 25. Bro, she's talking about a man that didn't even make it to his 30s. She's talking about a boy just turning into a man. And she's a grown-ass, damn near past cougar granny that is still gushing over her childhood love or her young adolescence or motherfucking early 20s love with a guy who never made it past 25. He was a young man, still learning himself, still learning the world. He was a brilliant guy, of course. But just like I would imagine she has gotten smarter and whatever, you tell me you have never met nobody else on a romantic level that you could at least talk about like how you keep talking about Pac every fucking day? What is going on? I digress.
He was in such bad shape, you know. And the Rikers, Rikers was bad. Dannemora, terrorists are there, but far more humane conditions than I would say Rikers.
It feels like the emotion is still right on the surface with you when you think back to these moments in your life.
Oh yeah. It feels like I just came back from seeing Pac at Rikers and I had to leave him there.
What? Yo, bitch, I was 30 years ago. Yo, this is crazy, dog. She said it feels like I just came back. It's been 30 fucking years. It's been 30 years. Now she's bugged out right now, bro. It's been 30 years. Yo, I feel like I just got off the bus from coming back to see. Nigga, what? It's been 30 years ago.
It's just like yesterday. But I'm also in a very raw place in my life right now as I'm thawing out, as I'm dismantling my defenses. You know, I call it the thaw out. So I'm in a really raw place.
Obviously, Pac he gets out of jail and Suge Knight. I mean, talking about timing, I think it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago that someone's been convicted for Tupac's murder. A lot of emotions.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you heard about the conviction or that an arrest had been made?
You know, I realized Jada Pinkett is the Asian doll for King Von. Let's keep it a beat. She's the Asian doll for Tupac. You know how Asian doll was like after Von died? Asian doll looked like she was Von. She even called herself Queen Von. I'm surprised Jada didn't rename herself to like 3Pac or some shit like that. Like, God damn it. That's the Asian doll. That's Pac's Asian doll. Jada. Jesus Christ, man.
I was like, I was glad that an arrest had been made. This was someone who we had known had been in the car. He had done some street interviews about it, you know. And I was just hoping, I was like, well, I hope they're bringing him in because we're going to get some other questions answered.
Like what?
So, you know, my hope is that we'll get more questions answered.
In the book, you question.
Yeah, that was her way of saying she wanted Diddy to go to jail. I ain't gonna hold you. She's saying, Diddy, you kill my man, you going to jail. That's what she pretty much said. I'm gonna keep it a beat. Like, I'm gonna just translate. She, them other questions she told about, yo, the way she loved Pac, she want anybody associated with that murder to go down. Yeah, Diddy, she wants you to go to jail, bro. No cap.
But then you confirm that Tupac knew how you felt about him when he passed away because you and him hadn't been speaking.
No.
And I think there's a really important lesson in this for.
That's the equivalent. You're going to hear some bullshit. This is the equivalent of when Asian Doll said King Von told her to go get the O Block chains back. And they're like, wait, how did he tell you he was dead? Listen to this shit.
All of us.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a huge fight.
Okay. Now we're starting to figure out some shit. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of guilt. If their last interaction was an argument or a fight and he died, there is going to be guilt. That's why she's probably making up fictional scenarios. She's trying to continue to play out the story of her and Pac beyond his death, because where that story ended so abruptly is something that's made her guilt-ridden, it's traumatized, and it's fucked her up.
Huge. It was one of the biggest fights we had ever had. And
she did say they never fucked. How the hell? I'm not arguing a fight with a chick I'm not fucking. The hell? Like, nigga, you're a friend at that point. Anyway, let me read out a couple of these donations. By the way, somebody says, look up the letter Willow Smith wrote to Pac. Yeah, I think we covered that before, but I'll look it up too. Sherman Northington, thank you for the $1. Trucking for show. He says, yo, she used to be top 5. You're talking about Jada. Yeah, Jada was always attractive, but like, I'm gonna be honest with you, her career wasn't shit to me. Somebody said, hey, Ak, why y'all keep defending Will and shitting on Jada? Simps get treated like simps. Kings get treated like kings. She's hinting that he's lame. No, she's been hinting like that like a while. There's a video, somebody sent me on Instagram if y'all got it, where like Will is getting like a massage from a man, and Will says, and Jada's standing right next to the man, and Will says, yeah, you know, men know what men want, or something to that sort, and he's laughing, and they pan the camera to Jada, and she just got that look in her face like, this nigga gay as shit. Like you could tell, like she was just like, this nigga is gay or weird. You feel me? So you could tell she wasn't really rocking with that boy from a while ago. So yeah, I do think she definitely think he lame. You know what I mean? Like obviously, if you're Will Smith and Pac, like, come on now. But anyway, I also believe that at this point, I'm willing to hear her say like, yo, one day on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, I went in there and, you know, Will was practicing the lines in the corner, and, you know, I just stumbled into Carlton's dressing room, and he was oiling himself up, and we fucked, and, you know, and I gave him some spiritual healing, some shit like that. Like, I'm down to hear anything this chick, yo, she's probably going to say anything, man. Like, this is a loose cannon. She's I don't know if she got some type of illness currently, but she's trying to give up some shit. She's trying to give up everything she should have took to the grave. So that's why sometimes I worry about people's health. Like, hopefully she's fine, because she's telling us some shit that she shouldn't even say ever. Oh, let me keep it. Rashad Boy, thank you for 5. He said, my mother-in-law went to school with Tupac in Dunbar, Baltimore, class of 1987. He says, on God, they didn't want Pac back then. They just wanted the jocks. Thank you for 5, OG. He says, facts. Okay. Let's play a little bit more of this, then I'm gonna show somebody.
And it was about how he had been living.
Damn.
You know.
Tearing up?
And I really, at that time, you know, really had to let him know my position. That I just felt like, you know, where he was sitting with everything was just, it wasn't going to end up well. Right? And we had.
Yo, Jada, I really don't give a fuck about what you say, man. Just lying and lying and lying. You need to go see a fucking therapist, man. That's what you goddamn need. But anyway, she got caught in a couple of lies by apparently a TikToker who started to debunk her saying that Tupac proposed to her while he was at Rikers. She went to go visit him, and according to her, Tupac proposed to her. This is what the TikToker kind of summed up.
Jada's lying, and I have the timeline to prove it. And I'm literally in the middle of moving. That's why I look raggedy. But I cannot handle these fucking lies anymore. Jada is currently on her Pay Attention to Me tour, and she is making all these wild claims, including that Tupac proposed to her while he was at Rikers. Really? The math isn't mathing, so let's take a look. Tupac was convicted of sexual assault charges on February 8th, 1995. From there, he was sent to Rikers Prison, only to be transferred less than a month later to Clinton Correctional Facility. And she specifically said she went to see him. This was not on the phone.
Book when I go to see him in Rikers, probably one of the more painful parts. Seeing him there, the condition that he was in, and having to leave him there.
Cool. So prior to going into Rikers, Tupac already had a girlfriend named Keisha. He proposed to Keisha, her words, in a September 2011 interview. He proposed to Keisha before he even went into prison. They were already engaged. They got married in April. And in the time that he got sentenced and was...
I told y'all, man, Jada delusional, man. Jada done substituted her for another woman in her story. She thinks she the one that got the ring. No, shorty, you're the side chick.
Taken to prison, Keisha actually moved closer to be by him and be by the prison and saw him on a near daily basis.
When he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers.
So you're telling me that in the 3 to 4 week window that he was at Rikers, engaged to another woman who had moved closer to the prison and was there almost every day, Tupac proposed to Jada. But hey, Jess, you might be saying to yourself, Tupac wasn't known to be a one-woman man. He was no angel. Fair enough. Let's see where Jada was during February of 1995, which was, as we've already established, the only time she would have been able to see Tupac at Rikers since he was only there for less than a month. You see, Jada had already met Will Smith in 1994 on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but Will Smith was married, and so nothing happened between them. But in February of 1995, Will Smith was served divorce papers by his wife. 5 days later, on February 19th, Will called Jada and said, "Are you single?" And she said, "Yep." Will said, "We're together now." Jada said, "Cool." And she immediately flew to LA. She flew so immediately that when he called her, she was in Maryland at a brand new house she bought. And she never spent a single night in her new house. That's how immediately she flew to LA.
All right, it's not over yet. It's one more part.
Jada, when in all that time did you visit Tupac at Rikers and get this fucking proposal? And for the record, Keisha and Tupac stayed married for about 10 months. They got their marriage annulled about 4 or 5 months after Tupac was released from prison. He was bailed out by Suge Knight. It wasn't long after that he met Jada Jones. Jada Jones is the daughter of legendary Quincy Jones. Jada looks a little recognizable. You may know her sister, Rashida Jones, who played Karen on The Office. Jada and Tupac were living together and engaged when Tupac was shot and killed. Jada was the one that was there with him at the hospital the night he died. Jada was handed his bloody clothes. She was the one who told him, "We all love you," before he slipped into a coma and never woke up. Keisha spoke with Tupac several days before he died because even though their marriage was annulled, they still remained good friends. And I can't help but notice that all of the women who are actually part of his life in a meaningful way are the ones that have just kept quiet. They've kept silent. They've kept their memories to themselves and not tried to use a dead man as their limelight. And the person who's squawking about him the most is making claims that can't even be verified and don't make sense from the perspective of a verifiable timeline.
I see why we love you.
He needed a rock. Because of our friendship and because of everything we had been through together, he just wanted to feel that solidified foundation.
Because so many people in that position don't have support.
Right.
None at all.
None. you know?
He got the best.
He did get the best, but not from Jada, because per Will Smith's own words, that him and Jada were pretty much humping all over the world. They were traveling constantly from the first 3 months they were together, all over the world. So Tupac did get some great support, I imagine, from his wife, who moved closer to be with him and visited him every day. And why do I care? Because I'm Gen X. And like any good Gen X person, I grew up on Tupac. We all remember this going down. We all remember where we were when we heard that Tupac got shot or that he died. We all had this fucking hat from Poetic Justice, walking around looking like newsies, slinging newspaper about the Great Depression and FDR. And we're all just sitting here watching Jada spout these lies, being like, do you think no one remembers? Because we all remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers, Jada.
Jada, you fucking liar. And actually, let me bring it back. I don't think she lied. I actually don't think Jada's lying. Now, and I seen somebody send a donation. Zuri Fraser, thank you. I'm gonna read it. He says, "Yo, the white girl is wrong. Tupac's cousin confirmed a few months ago that Pac tried to propose. Pac was cheating on Keisha with multiple women." And by the way, Zuri sends another donation. Thank you again, my brother. He says it's confirmed. Jada tried to get bail money for Pac. She's annoying, but she doesn't need to lie about that. Okay, I actually, I started thinking about it as even this white girl was explaining it. I think Pac probably did propose. But I think what's kind of clear is that Pac had multiple women, and his proposal to Jada didn't mean shit, right? Clearly, Pac was the sell some dreams type of nigga. When you're locked up, you want women to probably be loyal to you. Probably the best way to try to get them to be loyal to you when you're in a place that you can't help is overcommit. Hey, I want you to be my wife. I want you blah, 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 blah. He probably told that to several women. And again, it just kind of goes back into what I'm saying. Jada was fucking with Pac, but she was one of the sides. Now we have Pac dead, one of the side dish, you know what I mean? The mashed potatoes is trying to act like it's the main fucking course. You weren't the main course, okay? You was on the table, but you were the side, all right? That's it. Don't overshadow his story. Don't act like you were playing such an intricate part. You were on the table. We giving you credit for that. But you were aside. He was telling you the same shit he was telling a lot of other women. So all this, we had a connection that only us got. You speak for yourself. Because he was telling a lot of girls the same shit. So again, I think that's probably the only thing this is a takeaway from me about this whole thing with Jada. Now, she probably ain't lying about the proposal shit. Like, I'm kind of with you, Zuri. Luca Brasi, thank you for the 2. He says, Kadada Jones was at the Vibe party in 1997. Okay, all right, cool. Pretty much, I think I'm kind of almost jaded out at this point. Yo, she did this whole interview. Does she even talk about Will? Bro, she talked about her relationship with Tupac for 40 minutes. I still don't even see nothing about Will in these balanced relationships, complexities of the. Here we go.
I often say to people, if I was a fly on the wall, but if I was a fly inside the walls.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? 39 years old, about to turn 40.
Oh, I was in a very, very dark place. Very dark place.
Just, I remember the line I read where you said, if I got to 4 p.m. every day.
I was like, I made it. I made it. And even that was like so hard. I mean, I was talking to my mother this morning because she just read the book. And she said, I can't believe you didn't talk about how you woke up every day crying.
Really?
Yeah.
Over
and I was
Pac?
like, Mom, like, big sir, I knew exactly the route to drive. And it's this really narrow route. And sometimes it gets really, and I was just wired in a way that just.
What was the truth? If that's how you felt, what was, in hindsight now, what do you know to be the truth of that emotion and that state of your life, 39, 40 years old? What was actually going on?
That I really feel like that sometimes when we get into these states of introduce me, his friend.
Yeah, this bitch seems like she got more problems than anybody else, man. How the fuck she got a red table talk? Look like she need therapy. She going through a motherfucking lot.
His father did.
Chapter 20 of the book, you titled Surrender.
Yeah.
Surrender is an interesting word. Why is surrender so important in your journey?
You have to surrender everything you think you are and everything you think you know.
I've spoken to a lot of people that have done Alcoholics Anonymous, and they talk about the importance of surrender.
Yeah. It's like surrendering, you know, for me, also surrendering to a higher power. And that's a constant. That's every day. I have to remind myself and deepen my surrender to a power far greater than myself. I wasn't ready for the world to know that we weren't together and that we were living separate lives. And
this is her talking about.
I just took it because I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to end.
She's talking about what?
If I didn't put that out, I wouldn't have seen that next place of healing that I needed. Because I can take so much like discomfort. It wasn't until I saw how the people around me were affected. I mean, my mother, my kids, my friends, people like.
Will? Yo, she don't give a fuck about that nigga, man.
They were like, how could you do this? And I was like, well, I just wanted to end everything, you know. Will wasn't ready for the world to know that we weren't together and that we were living separate lives. And I just took it because I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to end. People were like, no. My mother was like, what are you? She was like, you need to get your ass in therapy.
Yeah, I think we can click off with that, man. This chick is nuts. She did do an interview with, I think it was like All the Smoke or something like that.
Chris decided to do this bit together. And then he goes up and the whole thing happens. And it looked like Chris slipped the shot. And so I was like, oh, this is definitely a bit, because I've seen Will.
It wasn't a great bit. It wasn't really a great bit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've seen Will knock out professional fighters.
Sure.
Will is a heavy hitter. Yeah, right. Right? And so Chris was still standing. There was no blood. There was no swelling, what have you. And I was like, oh, this is a bit. This is a strange bit, but okay.
Right.
He turns around and he comes back. As he's coming back, I'm going, something's off. Something's not right. He sits down. And I just look at him, I'm like, are you okay? And it continues to go. And it wasn't until his publicist came out and said, you know, Chris has left the building, he's not gonna press charges. And I said, well, what would he press charges for? And she said, well, Will hit him. And I was like, you hit Chris? And I was like, all right, well, we're in this together now. I didn't come in here as your wife, but I'm leaving as your wife, because we're gonna have to get through this together.
Yeah.
Zuri says, I love Will, but he's not a victim. We've been calling him a great actor who's probably a geek in real life.